Hello, it's James here. Today is an old video, a little trip I took to the Netherlands as part of the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. This was put on by the State Department. I've edited the video a bit to take out things specific to the business at the time, and hopefully just kind of show you my travels there. This is with the old company before COVID and before the divorce and all that. So just to kind of put that in context. But without further ado, I hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, James. It's going to be a very busy next week. So I'm here in beautiful Helena, Montana, on Fort Harrison. It's a National Guard base, and you can see behind me there's quite a bit of smoke that's actually coming from Canada. Montana is doing great right now. Canada, not so much. You might be wondering why the camouflage. This is my first drill with my new unit, and so pretty excited about that. But also, really shortly here, I'm going to be going to the Netherlands. So let's see how this weekend goes and how the trip is. Okay, weekend is over. That was a lot of work. It was a really good weekend with the new unit. Lots to do, but now it's time to get on board and get going to the Netherlands. Next up, The Hague. You may be wondering why the heck I was going to the Netherlands. Well, the U.S. State Department actually invited us out there to be part of their GES, or Global Entrepreneurship Summit, for 2019. So it turns out I did have one more stop in Salt Lake City for my layover, but from there it would be a direct flight to Amsterdam. Now in Salt Lake City, getting ready to board the plane for The Hague. Food. The trip from Salt Lake City to the Netherlands was quite nice, other than the fact that I was in an aisle seat, which isn't my first preference, but is what it is. Can't really be too picky when the government's paying for it anyways. It was an overall very easy flight, and I was happy to arrive. After arriving there, it was pretty obvious that we weren't in Kansas anymore, or in my case, Montana. The food was quite unique. There are many different types of wonderful treats to be had in the airport, but I skipped that for now. Walking through the rest of the airport, it was really cool to see all the high-end shops, especially the watch stores. I made my way to customs and got that coveted stamp. Every taxi is a Tesla. Regular car reviews, you guys need to come here. The car scene here is weird. So smoking is definitely a thing here. I found the GES guy. We're gonna follow him now. Welcome to The Hague. Okay, let's see the room here. It's pretty compact. Got a little bed, TV. Here's the view. We can see maybe someone's apartment porch. Little courtyard area. And oh, look at the bathroom. That's pretty nice. So it has been a very long day. It's been a long weekend here, but I'm here in The Hague, in the Netherlands, ready for this. It is about 11 o'clock right now, and that means I have 5 hours to get my check-in done at the GES event and also to get over to the opening ceremonies. So lots to do. I'm gonna go try to find some lunch right now and then get back to work.
It doesn't work. Why won't it fit in the plug?
I stayed in the Park Hotel in the downtown Hague area. It was quite nice. From there, I was able to walk around to my next meeting area, which was the City Hall. Got some lunch, and got ready to get my badge. The first event had some wonderful local cuisine. Mike Pompeo was there, as was the Prime Minister of the Netherlands and the Mayor of The Hague. It was really quite an event with a lot of guys with guns.
So it's the actual first day here at the forum. I had a pretty rough time on the plane, wasn't able to sleep yesterday, and after all the opening events last night, got back to my room really late, pretty tired, and I ended up sleeping through the actual first event this morning, so that's a bummer. So I'm walking to the World Forum now, and let's see what there is to see around here on the way.
The Hague is a beautiful city, full of some wonderful architecture. And of course, the Peace Palace is an absolute must-see.
So the Netherlands is actually a really flat country, and because of that, biking is perfect. There's not too many cars around, but there are thousands and thousands of bicycles. There's also a lot of mopeds. Interestingly, the mopeds oftentimes use the bike lane, and so you kind of gotta stay out of there. The motto around here is, if it's red, then you're dead, because the bike paths are red.
You could tell that The Hague was really getting ready for this GES event. There were flags everywhere. Anywhere that you went around town, it was very active. Lots of city life, and of course, some really good food. The architecture there is amazing, partially because of the age. Many of the buildings there are from centuries before the US was even a thing. So there's some really amazing castles, many of which are still in use in some capacity today.
Storm's picking up quite a bit now. It's been raining all evening. Apparently along the shore, which is about 2 miles away, winds are up to 70 miles an hour.
The GES provided transportation to and from the summit if you chose to use it, although I did walk most days. The bus ride was quite nice, and you're able to see a good chunk of the city just by looking out the window. Once I got to the summit, we all departed the bus and got to work. The real point of this whole thing was getting to meet with other entrepreneurs from around the world, see what was happening in technology and agriculture, and maybe even meet a few investors. There were all kinds of people there from many different sectors of the government, and while the agricultural investment sector was really weak, unfortunately, there were still many cool people to meet and some really interesting talks to attend. Since the summit was self-guided and you got to choose what you did and when you did it, I actually had a lot of time to go and just see The Hague. I even went to a couple museums, including the famous art museum that has the girl with the pearl earring. There's a lot of shopping to do in the area, and while I didn't partake in any of that, it was cool just to see the shopping centers, and of course to continue looking at the magnificent architecture and history in the area.
I found this enormous snail here. Doesn't seem to be doing all too well though.
So I'm currently in Madurodam, which is the smallest city in the Netherlands. It's probably about 10-15 acres. It was founded in 1952 for George Maduro by his parents. Basically, it's a love song to their son.
Madurodam was probably my favorite place in the entirety of The Hague. I definitely want to take Kathy and the kids here at some point. It's an amazing place. And interestingly enough, it's a war memorial. It's known as the happiest war memorial in the world. And, you know, as a veteran, I think that that's a pretty cool way to do it. Instead of being sad, let's try to celebrate those people that gave so much to protect us. As the conference came to a close, It was time for one big final bash. There was food and drinking and talking, and of course, some cricket-based cocktails were in the works. The next day, it was time to make my way back to Amsterdam. I had one extra day just to see the city before flying out. Of course, the number one thing to do in Amsterdam is to see the canals and the red light district. And so I took a boat tour and saw the dancing houses, the Maritime Museum, and all the wonderful things that Amsterdam had to offer. I then made my way to my hostel that I was staying at that night. I figured, hey, if I'm in Amsterdam, I might as well do this thing right. So I stayed at a Christian hostel in the red light district, which seemed a little backwards, but it was a really, really nice place with some amazing people. They even tried quite a few of the crickets, and so that's even more people that are going to be bringing the products all over the world.
So it's the last day in the Netherlands. Had a great time exploring Amsterdam today, seeing all the things you'd expect to see. And I got told about this coffee shop across the river, so we're gonna go check that out now.
When I got to the coffee shop, I ended up learning the difference between coffee shop, and cafe. It was definitely a cafe, which meant it was really more of a bar. A coffee shop, one word, sells weed, and coffee shop, two words, sells coffee. Since I wasn't really in the mood to go to a bar, I ended up turning around, but the boat ride was a fantastic way to end my last day in Amsterdam either way.
Well, good morning. It is Thursday, I think. We'll go with Thursday morning here in Amsterdam. Streets are considerably less busy than they were last night. There's like 5 pigeons out here. Last night there's probably a few thousand people just on any given street. So it's definitely a bit of a party town, it would seem. But time to get out of here, get back home to Montana. The people in the Netherlands don't really wake up until about 8 or so, and it seems nothing opens up until closer to 10 a.m. each day. So anywhere you go, the streets are just kind of vacant in the morning. But they are very pretty.
From there, it was time to get some final gifts for Kathy and the kids, change in my euros, and finally go home. Well, I certainly hope that you enjoyed that. Please like, share, subscribe, notification bell, all those things down below. I would love to hear comments. What are some places that you think I should go and visit just on my own? What are some stories that maybe you have of the Netherlands? Let me know in the comments down below. But other than that, that is all that I have for you today, my friends. So please stay safe, drive safe, and be happy. Bye.
The Atropian people have been oppressed for far too long. But American lives are not worth Atropian oil when all we have is one unicorn to guide us into the future. Become part of the resistance now. Atropia.us